Yeah, hi everyone. I'm Grace. Thank you so much for having me on. Currently, I'm a designer, I'm a founder. I also do a lot of, I have a lot of random hobbies on the side. I do a lot of art, 2D art, 3D art. I used to make VR games. And I also run a lot and I blog a lot. But a little bit about my background. I was born and raised in California, specifically San Francisco Bay Area, or I notice a lot of people all over the world tend to call it Silicon Valley. So I was actually always surrounded by tech. In high school, I went to a super interesting high school where a lot of people want to get into STEM, and which influenced my career path actually. And actually, growing up, I wanted to be an anime artist and a game developer because I loved games. And in high school, I actually got into cross country and track. I was super competitive runner, which influenced my university major as bioengineering and computer science actually. So that was actually my undergrad major. And after doing some internships in that, I realized that I wanted to do UX product design. And I slowly pivoted to that career field after graduating from college and now working full time as a product designer at Electronic Arts and started Design Buddies along the way during COVID. Yeah, that's a little bit about my background and how I got to where I am today.
Damn. Okay, so you're kind of a polymath because I mean, you mentioned running, biology, design. You're a founder. That's crazy. Um, so what got you interested in, I guess, community building? Just to start off with, because I think that's what most people on Discord know you from. Your server Design Buddies. It's huge. It's at how many members now?
We're at 36,000.
Sheesh. Yeah, that's crazy. So got you actually interested in design in the first place?
Yeah, so it was actually after my internship. So my one of my internships in college was actually I was a virtual reality robotic surgery game developer intern at Intuitive Surgical, where I designed mostly developed games to train surgeons to do surgery and virtual reality. And I realized my favorite part of that whole internship was the design of the game and the user experience design and the user testing part of it, not the coding part. And so that's how I like decided to pivot to from computer science to design. And then after doing I did a lot of hackathons and volunteer work in product design, and I just really enjoyed it because I liked making things and the visual side of things from my art background. Um, and how I got into community building was actually interesting. So, long story short, I was actually super, super shy before. I used to be super scared of talking to new people. And then I went to this conference called Grace Hopper Conference in 2018. So, I think I was junior in college. And I noticed that a lot of people um, who want to get into tech were very like loud and stuff. And so I wanted a job. And so I tried to just like get out of my comfort zone and talk to people and end up really enjoying. I met so many people that I would have never met if I didn't reach out. And yeah, and then COVID happened. Well, actually, before COVID, I used to host a bunch of meetups in person. Um, just joining a bunch of local Facebook groups and hosting meetups and meeting new people, and that was really fun. And then COVID happened, and I was also kind of pivoting to UX product design, and I noticed I didn't really have anyone in my network that was doing that. And I was also in other design communities, and I felt like a lot of them were really intimidating. And I just felt like as a new designer, I felt like unwelcome in them. And so I just created my own. Like I had a problem, so I just built my own solution for it. And yeah, that's how Design Buddies came to be. I founded it in April 10th, 2020, and it just took off from there. And a lot of people, I just tried to focus on creating an environment where everyone can just share resources with each other and just have fun, learn design, and just be chill. And yeah, have fun, learn together, and it ended up growing. We growing. A lot of people shared it with their own communities, and that's how we got where we are today.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, it's really crazy how many startups and communities and projects came to be like at the start of COVID. Um, and you know, so many of those projects have become absolutely massive, partially probably because of all the people who had to be inside, quarantining. And I'm sure like platforms like Discord and Twitch and Reddit all skyrocketed in user count. So um, pretty great timing, creating a community. And I started Photography Lounge, a photography server on Discord, actually in 2020 as well. And yeah, I can really relate to, you're wanting to create your own solution after kind of taking a look at the current online community in design, and seeing it succeed. So that's really cool. Um, so what was your community building experience before you got involved with Design Buddies? Were you on any other platforms? Like, because I know a lot of people who end up doing well on Discord were previously building communities on Reddit or Instagram. So yeah.
Yeah, it was actually pretty short. I don't have that much community experience, but around 2018, I actually had a Maple Story. I used to play this game called Maple Story, and I used to be obsessed with it. I was actually so I was 14 years old, and I was like a guild leader of one of the top guilds in that game, and that was I guess that was my first ever community experiences, leading my guild through expeditions and fighting boss monsters. And yeah, it was really random, but it was really fun. And then after that, like many years later, um, I actually had this work study community that I hosted on Facebook with some local people, local friends, and just kind of grew it from there and met every week just in cafes and studied together. And that group chat is still active. I'm not active in it anymore, but when COVID happened, we had like a 24-hour Zoom going on with at least one or two other people in it,
Oh,
for like the first 3 months of COVID. So it was pretty cool seeing that community take off and having people still stay connected that strongly after COVID happened. And then around the same time, I started Design Buddies. But I've attended a ton of meetups, joined a bunch of Facebook groups, and been part of a lot of communities, but not really like a founder unless you count the work study group, or a leader unless you count the Maplestory Game Guild.
right. Yeah. I mean, that's crazy. So, considering the scale that Design Buddies reached, it's really impressive that you sort of jumped in without, a whole lot of experience in the community building space. And so you're involved with Discord beforehand though, right? Like you understood how the platform worked, you were a user. Because I was checking out your site earlier and I saw that you made a Discord bookmark, mobile app design, and I thought that was so cool because I'm looking at the like the case study that you made for it, and I was really taken aback by how like intentional you were. You identified what you wanted to fix, where the issue was, and that's something that at least in 2020 I did not see much of on Discord. Like if everything, even the successful projects and communities were very casual. Um, so yeah, what got you on Discord in the first place?
Yeah, so I was actually so it was actually really random again. Like I feel like everything I get into, it's always like a random encounter. But when I was in college, when I was pivoting from bioengineering to computer science slash game dev, I was learning how to make a virtual reality game, and I was following this YouTube channel that made games in Unreal Engine, and he had like a Discord server, and I needed some help, so I joined the Discord server, and that's when I first discovered Discord. It was in 2018, and I was like, wow, what are all these buttons? Who are all these people? This is like kind of cool. And yeah, so I mostly used Discord for that for the first year, and then got into Maplestory Mobile, which is like this mobile game from this other game I was obsessed with back when I was growing up. Got super into that game, and everyone in that game used Discord, and so most of my time was just in game dev servers and Maplestory servers and gaming servers. And so that was mostly what I used Discord for before 2020. And then I created Design Buddies. After like kind of getting used to Discord from the games I was playing, I really like the overall like people like me on there and the overall like features it has. So that's why I decided to create Design Buddies on Discord. And then I noticed around 2020, a lot of other tech communities pop up on Discord. A lot of people were pivoting from Slack to Discord, and right now I'm in so many different types of servers. like hackathons. I'm in like founder servers, business servers, tech servers, design, art, investing servers. And I got in a rabbit hole of like Web3 and NFTs, so sometimes I lurk in those. A ton of type of servers. I kind of just joined everything. I'm almost at max server count. But yeah, I just love Discord. I feel like there's always something fun I can find on there and fun people I can meet.
Yeah, totally. That's awesome to hear. And I mean, as a designer, I'm surprised that Discord stood out, although maybe not completely surprised. Because there are other platforms like Instagram and Dribble. From a design standpoint, what made Discord stand out? Was it, looking at it from someone, the perspective of someone that's not a designer, I would say maybe, having that like chat centric feature set might be more appealing as opposed to um, browsing, boards on Pinterest or maybe looking for design inspiration on Dribble. But even platforms like Instagram sort of offer an in between, I feel like where, you can browse feeds and stuff and there's a comment section. So did you really see that there was a design community on Discord or were you sort of trying out Discord and maybe thinking, oh, maybe I could open up a community on Instagram or Dribble later on?
Yeah, for me, I actually started Design Buddies, kind of backtracking a little bit. It was actually started as a Facebook chat. Um, it was like I posted in this random, well, I guess not random, but this Facebook group called Asian Creative Network about starting like a wholesome design chat, and then it filled up really quickly. So we ran into limit issues. I think the limit was like 250, and so that's why I created Discord because other people suggested Slack or Discord just because they didn't have that user issue. And then I also love how Discord, it's like a server and you can organize it into different channels. So, because we noticed I saw a lot of people like sharing work for feedback, sharing job opportunities, sharing design questions. So I felt like it would just make more sense to have a place where people can talk about different topics. And I like Discord much more than Slack because Slack feels like work, and I'm in a bunch of Slack communities. I notice a lot of them are pretty dead, just because they run into so many issues with like message limits and stuff, and it just feels too much like work. So yeah, I just love this. I'm also like pretty used to using Discord from my intense usage from it from my Maplestory days.
Yeah, true. I mean, also with like all the bots and everything, it feels very customizable.
Oh yeah, and the
Um,
roles and stuff too.
yeah, totally. All right, yeah. So I actually sort of want to backtrack to what you were saying about having a background in biology because I
Mhm.
feel like that's a super interesting kind of facet of what you're interested in. Um, do you plan on doing more in the fields? Like, I feel like being someone who's really interested in biology, like that's a whole, a whole different career that you could have pursued.
Yeah, so I got interested in biology actually. Well, two reasons. One is I was an avid cross country and track runner, and I had big dreams to like potentially run professionally in high school. And I want to learn how to biohack myself to run faster. So it was for a reason for running. And number two is I just love the stories cells tell. I thought photosynthesis, cellular respiration, they're like so cool. And how plants grow. I just thought it was like a really cool story. Like I was a big fan of it. Like I'm a fan of like anime and manga. That's how I looked at biology. And I even drew like a manga of it. This was like before cells at work and love like personifying cells. And yeah, but the reason why I pivoted out of biology was after doing a few internships in research in the cell culture labs in bioengineering. Um, I did a lot of work on how to use cells to do gene therapy, and it was like really impactful work I was doing, but I did not enjoy it. Like the favorite part of it for me was taking photos of the cells and then overlaying them in Photoshop. Not the actual like cell work. I just like the taking photos part. Um, and then I just like was not very excited to go into lab because I thought it was just like a lot of repetition and sometimes things don't work, and sometimes you take 6 months to prove like a sentence of hypothesis. So yeah, that's how I pivoted out of it. I've always loved games, and then I actually got into like design from biology because I created this game called Selfie, which is this virtual reality biology learning game where you become a cell in VR, and that's kind of how I bridged the gap from biology to development and later design.
Oh, interesting. Okay, so you were more interested in like the conceptual educational part of biology, maybe.
Yeah, not the actual like day-to-day lab work.
Right. Yeah. No, that makes sense. And I mean, I can imagine from like an educational standpoint, being able to personify different cells and organisms and different parts of what you were learning was super useful. And yeah, I mean, I can totally see the bridge between, um, you know, turning different aspects of biology into characters, and then from taking that into design. Um, and one thing that really stood out to me with Design Buddies, like the first time I saw it was I strangely at the time how not Discord it was, but how it really has changed the entire community scene for the better now. Like it's hard to describe actually. When I first checked out Design Buddies, I was really surprised because your graphics were so great, your branding was on point. You guys have like a really great website, and like in 2020 most like some of the biggest servers had like HTML static websites. Nothing was done very professionally. But now looking around, even like looking at BuilderGroop, we have like a banner made in Blender. We have a strong social media presence. That's something I also noticed about you guys. Basically, that you approach community building very intentionally, and almost like you're strategic in the sense that you want to scale and you wanted to build a strong team. So going into community building on Discord, did you have any like team management experience or product management experience?
Oh yeah, thank you. I did notice. I also noticed that we're like non-Discord-ish. So yeah, that's an interesting observation. Because I think part of it is because we have a lot of I don't know, actually I don't know why it became like that. But I don't know, it's cool. But I did not have any well, I had like very, very small project management experience from making a game, just like group projects and team projects from college. So that's most extent of that. And I did not have that much community building experience. So I actually when I started Design Buddies, I had a lot of people that I didn't know previously reach out to me and wanting to like volunteer as a mod or a Discord admin. So thanks to them, I was able to have people to help with design and branding, moderation, community growth, marketing, and all that as well. So it was also just like a lot of the thanks to the people who reached out initially who wanted to help. And that's how we got to where we are today. And then as a UX designer, I think about like problem solving. So I try to like think of like what pain points do people have when learning design, when connecting with other people, when trying to like try out many different solutions. So a lot of things didn't work, a lot of things worked. So I've always loved experimenting with new things and seeing what sticks, what people like, and what doesn't work, and then learning from that as well. So taking that approach of just being super open-minded, trying new things, seeing how it works without worrying about the outcomes, and just seeing even if it fails, like that's good. At least I know, and just like having an open mind and going from there. And yeah, that helped me a lot in my life and also with design buddies.
Yeah, I mean that approach and that mentality is super powerful. Also in the startup space, of course. And yeah, it was really just the first time I was like, wow, this is a Discord server that's like really making an impact. Because you guys also kind of moved outside of just being on Discord in the sense that you were doing community meetups and panels with people and companies that I'm sure never had worked with communities on Discord before. So you guys, you were really crushing it also marketing and networking outside of Discord. So that's something I also noticed.
Yeah,
Um,
thank you.
yeah. And okay, sorry. So how does, yeah, like around the time that Design Buddies is growing, Web3 and NFTs and all of that jazz is starting to really kind of blow up. Um, I feel like it's been a pretty big change in the design community, and a lot of people have really different opinions on it. I'm wondering how it was like to sort of, manage what's essentially like Discord's town hall of design during the shift in the industry and the community, and what your thoughts are on it.
Great question. This is very interesting because I see like I feel like whenever for me I like super interested in like everything. I have no strong opinions about anything. So I also like am personally very curious about controversial topics without expressing my opinions about them. And I just like so interesting because I notice a lot of designers don't like Web3 and NFTs. And for me, I'm also like a little bit low key like a skeptic of them as well. I like tend to question everything, but I love the critical discussion of the pros and cons of NFTs and how they could impact society or how they could not impact society. And so for Design Buddy specifically, a rule we have is anyone is welcome to express their opinions, but you can't put other people down for their opinions. And we just want to create just like a safe space for people to feel welcome no matter what background they come from, no matter what their opinions are, to be able to contribute critically to a discussion instead of saying like, oh yeah, that sucks, but that sucks because blah, blah, blah. And just like kind of like share thoughts with each other. And surprisingly, we haven't had that much drama. Well, knock on wood, because I know it's a quite a heated topic that I see people thinking of. But yeah, I has crossed my mind of creating like Design Buddies NFTs one day, but I don't think we are ready for any sort of thing like that yet. I feel like the Web3 NFTs, it's like pretty cool to me to learn about, but I feel like the tech is like super volatile and I'm just really excited to see how it shapes its form to be in like the next few years to see if we decide to adopt it to our community and stuff like that too.
Yeah, totally. That's actually pretty perfect outlook on this whole situation. Just staying open, but staying skeptic, and just allowing discussion is probably the best way for people to stay educated about everything going on. And yeah, so props to you for that. And so I know you started working recently at EA, and I want to get to that in a second, but. Um, in terms of community building, on Discord, everything is pretty much nonprofit, and
Yeah.
so in the design space where you guys could be, maybe like you mentioned, some design communities could be opening NFT projects or I don't know, launching artist collectives, posting job listings. What are your thoughts on like the monetization of communities, and is that ever something that you would consider for design buddies?
Yeah, it's actually something that I like me and my team have tested pretty recently. Right now we are a nonprofit and we're officially trying to register as one, and we are mostly B2B because we've tested a lot of things. We noticed our B2C market isn't doing that well. We are in the premium memberships pilot on Discord. We have a merch store. We have immersive program for our B2C side. But our immersive program did super well, but it was a lot for us to handle and kind of giving more context behind why we chose to go B2B is a lot of everyone on our team is just doing this for fun, including myself. We all have like full-time jobs or full-time college students, and we kind of want to keep it fun. And also why we decided to go to B2B is we got in like I guess like looking at like 2021 finances, like 70% of our profit was from sponsorships from companies and basically advertising. And that's how we decided to kind of pivot to that realm. So we do a ton of sponsored events, a ton of sponsored job postings and stuff. And we always just like kind of reinvest all of that back into our community and just try to make it bigger and bigger and bigger. And so, yeah, we just mostly right now we are scaling, trying to get more people to negotiate for higher sponsorships, and then doing more sponsorships to pay for all of our operational costs, and just kind of keep it really fun like that, and scaling from that as well. And then, yeah, we just noticed I guess the reason why we decided to kind of go not for profit or the nonprofit route is just because where I tested stuff and where the most of the money was coming from, and what I thought personally made more sense to me for Design Buddies to keep everything free. for everyone wanting to participate and just receive like resources and stuff, and just to keep it open for anyone in the world. Like even if they may come from a background where they don't have that much money, they can still learn design and connect with people, and that's something that I want to continue on for Design Buddy. So, but at the same time, we have operational costs like a lot of subscriptions, tech stuff we need to pay for, so we just use the company sponsorships and they get to advertise, we get the sponsorship. So yeah, it just works for us really well that way after testing some stuff out.
Yeah, that's awesome. So you mentioned, being B2B, and I think that's actually like a pretty cool way of approaching monetizing community because um, it's probably the least impactful in a negative way, at least for members, because you're not having them pay to join or anything like that. Um, and so you mentioned working with sponsors. There are, I think it's safe to say that the software as a service space for communities is super, super slim right now. But there's like one startup called Palette, and basically what they're doing is like you as a community, you can act as like essentially a job listing platform for your specific niche. Are you when you're working with companies for advertisements or whatever it may be? Are you doing this like directly, emailing these people at these companies? Are they reaching out to you, or are you using something like Palette?
Oh, we actually use Palette. Yeah,
No
that
way.
yeah. Actually, I've only reached out to one person in my life. We have a partnerships form on our website, so that's where all of our partners came from. And we have a list of all of our partners and sponsors on our About page as well. So it's actually quite a lot of companies. Um, I personally never reached out. Well, the only person I reached out to was actually Spline, just because I thought their 3D software is pretty cool, and I saw the founder, posting jobs in our Discord, and they're already in Design Buddies too. So I never did any cold reach outs ever, just because we're quite a small team for partnerships, and it was just us and doing this like part time for fun. We're just trying to handle all of the requests coming at us, so we have not reached out to anyone yet.
Okay. Wow, that's interesting. Okay, yeah, I recently found out about Palette, and I was super impressed with what they're doing. So I have to speak with you later about that because maybe uh, I can get that set up for BuilderGroop.
Yeah, for sure.
Um, so you mentioned having not really having to reach out to people, which is pretty awesome. How do you manage like quality control when dealing with companies or organizations that want to work with you guys?
Oh yeah, we had a lot of people, a lot of different types of people, and so I guess the we have a set guidelines of who we want to accept, who we don't, and we want to make sure it's mostly mutually beneficial and both parties can benefit. And then also make sure it's like quite equal for both parties. And this could mean like responsibilities, not just like the size. We don't really look at the size. We look at like what value they could contribute to Design Buddy. So just having a set guidelines, and then I also delegate a lot to my team as well. So some of my other team members handle other sponsorships slash partnerships, and I handle some. And we just kind of like divide up from there, and then yeah, so people can just like pick and choose. But we do have a set of guidelines of who we partner with and who we don't, and what we do with them. Or we're also like super open-minded and wanting to try new things, and we always want to hear what the company who reached out to us wants to do first, and just trying out new things, seeing what works, what doesn't, and then like proposing that to like future companies and stuff. So yeah, it's always, I feel like everything's an experiment for us and for me as well, and seeing what works and doesn't, and iterating from there.
Very cool. Um, And yeah, another thing I was thinking about for communities, especially in like the interest sort of niches, was the concept of sort of growing this community and then building a tool that can provide value to members while, maybe earning the team some cash. So that's actually something I was thinking about doing with Photography Lounge, sort of building a like an Instagram or Unsplash alternative. And obviously there are lots of design tools out there, but I'm sure, you might know better than so many people, as, given the fact that you're a designer yourself, what the design industry needs. Especially given the fact that, you have experience working with, software. Is that something that you guys have ever considered?
Yeah, right now we've been doing a ton of user research. We're actually trying to build a mentorship platform. This is actually coming soon. We haven't like officially announced it yet, but
Ooh.
yeah, because that we kind of go one step at a time, and we do a ton of like user research to see like what people need in design, why they come to design buddies. We've noticed that people come to design buddies because they want a job in design, and so we think of like everything people need to get a job and try to provide that support for people. And yeah, so that's what's coming up next, and then we'll launch that and see how that goes. We have thought of making an app, but we haven't thought of exactly. We also want to make sure every time we design a product, we're solving a problem and we have that validated and stuff. We kind of put a pause on that just because it was like also someone's idea, and we were trying to think of like how that would solve a need, but that's on pause for now. We just need to pivot a little bit on that. But yeah, I would definitely want to try to launch products, and we have a product design team. I'm actually leading that actually, and yeah, just kind of just take it day by day and experiment, and go from there as well.
Oh, that's so exciting. Okay, yeah, I'm going to keep my eyes open for that. Um, and all right, so yeah, you recently started a job at EA, which is crazy. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Um, I'm wondering, I guess just for starters, what is it like being the founder of Design Buddies, with that workload, and then joining the team at EA? Is that something that you struggle with? Is it something that is easier, having things be remote thanks to COVID?
Yeah, I don't really. I guess it's like pretty chill for me, at least. I don't know. It's kind of strange. But I started at Electronic Arts like as an intern in June 2020, and later started full time in December 2020. So it's been a year and a half since I've been almost a year and a half since I've been working there, and I find that a lot of my teammates really like design buddies. A lot of my coworkers like design buddies, so that makes it easier. A lot of them actually spoke at our events as well. They're actually mentors and design buddies, so yeah, they just like it, and so that's why like totally support it. That's why it's easy for me to like, kind of work on both at the same time without worrying that I'm not like trying hard enough at work or something. But yeah, no, I really like it. But at the same time, I also work in tech/marketing. So I don't actually work on games, but I work on products to market games. And I also work on this product called Creator Network, which actually launched to the public yesterday. And y'all can apply if you want. But it's basically this community, this like platform to connect creators with each other and community managers to give paid opportunities and stuff with games. And so it's been really fun because I've learned a lot through my job, through like UX product design that I apply to Design Buddies, and I learned a lot of like management and product and project management through Design Buddies, which applied to my job at EA as well. So I feel like I learned two very different things from two very big projects and just like apply them to each other. So I feel like it's been working super well right now.
Awesome. Yeah. So as a designer, like I'm not super familiar with the industry or what it's like to be a designer. What is like your dream goal? Like in 10 years, what do you picture yourself doing in the design field or in another field?
Yeah, great question. I think about this a lot. For me, like, I have no idea. I kind of want to just be some like low key like a content creator. But I feel like to have content, I need to have like life experience to create content about. Um, yeah, I want to explore. I'm trying to explore more content creation, art, and I definitely want to stay in design. I don't know if I want to stay like in house. I know being an entrepreneur is also quite stressful. I would need to hire someone to handle all the like legal and finance stuff if I were to take design buddies even further. Um, yeah, I have to think about that a little bit more, but right now, I really like where I am at now, but I imagine myself like well, I like to try a lot of things, but like a digital nomad, just traveling the world, doing my own thing, exploring, learning from other cultures, as well as trying my hands on professional running, like on the side, and just traveling the world, running marathons, racing them as well, just for fun, and continuing to do art, continuing to run design buddies, and continuing to work in design, working on many different types of projects. And yeah, and a big reason why I decided to go the nonprofit route for Design Buddies is I wanted to kind of live on forever. Like I have big goals for it to last like maybe like next 200 years or so. Maybe that's a lot. But I want to just like be a community space where anyone can talk about design and connect with each other, and doesn't always have to be me that's facilitating, but I want to like live on forever no matter like what I do and what I choose to do in my life.
That is so cool. Yeah, I could totally relate to that. And you mentioned like maybe going into like a digital nomad lifestyle. I would imagine as a designer, that's like something that's very popular in the industry. Um, do you think that how were things impacted like when COVID started? Were because obviously everyone was working in offices before, and now everyone's outside of offices. Has the design community really like changed because of that at all?
Yeah, I can't really say because I haven't worked full time. Well, because I graduated college like relatively recently, so I haven't worked full time as a designer anywhere else before, like in person. So I don't know how the dynamic is, but I have interned in like tech companies full time like before COVID, like 2019 and before, and it's pretty interesting because I'm able to like for me like my workday starts at 7 a.m. actually because I have a lot of stand-up calls with engineering teams in India, but my last meeting's typically at 3 p.m. And so it's like a high school schedule for me. Um, and it's pretty chill because I like to go running in the middle of the day for fun, and no one really cares or notices. I mean, my coworkers work out in the middle of the day as well, so that helped me like validate like, oh, okay, I can just like totally go on a run at like 10 a.m. right now. And yeah, it's like, and also like sometimes if I want to do something design buddies related during the day, like host an event, I just work more at night. And as long as I finish my work, it's all good. And that's how I'm able to handle all of that as well. And yeah, also like I only met one of my coworkers in real life just because everyone's all over the world. But it's
That's
pretty cool.
crazy.
Yeah, yeah, our team is planning to go back to office, but my team only like needs me to be there once a month. So it's like even more chill for me. But I do want to go to office because I want to film like day in the life working in gaming vlogs. But that's the only reason why. Well, one of
No,
the
I
only
can.
reasons why.
Yeah, I mean, as a designer, the urge to become like a content creator, it must be pretty significant. So yeah, I was actually watching a short documentary recently talking about how many people working remote jobs at these big companies are actually like working one job and then starting another full-time job, usually as like a software engineer. Um, but I was wondering if that's something that is happening in the design industry because I'm not really familiar with how workloads are. But I would imagine you might know being, working remotely.
Yeah, I have a lot of friends who work full time and start other companies on the side as well because working remotely gives us a flexibility. Like we save like hours and hours of commute time, in and out of meeting time, stuff like that too. And yeah, I've been seeing a lot of designers also become content creators. Like they start like having their own YouTube channel, where they're on Instagram, where they have a bunch of like carousels about design, which is pretty cool. And then for me, like because after working for I guess almost 2 years now professionally as in design, I noticed I become much faster at my job and like much faster at design. So I've been able to take on more tasks, finish tasks easier so I can do more of my day as well. So it's all about I guess for me like learning how to be more efficient by just like getting more experience so that I have more time in my day to do more things.
Right. Okay, cool. Okay, so I think now we can actually move on to the Q&A for the people here listening. We do have a Q&A thread. It's in the events channel, just right above these stages. If you could click on events, there's like a little Q&A thread right there. So to start off, Sin asks, how hard is it to manage such a big community at Design Buddies? How do you plan new events, or how do you spread tasks with Design Buddies team?
Great question. I we have over 40 people on our team, and I guess kind of going back, how hard is it to manage a community like Design Buddies? I guess thanks, like, I just want to shout out to our moderators because thanks to them, I don't have to think about moderation at all. And I know that's like the bulk of community building. I just think of like strategy. So for me, I actually focus more on like product strategy, and we have a whole community team. Um, that I just like trust them to just like, ban people when appropriate, warn people when appropriate. Sometimes I give comments and stuff, but thanks to that, that also helps. And so we have a leadership team slash Discord admin team. We have a design team with like graphic design, product design, illustration, um, and research. We have a content team that creates like carousels, blog articles, and more. We have our events team that help with all things event related, strategizing, moderating, coordinating with speakers. We also have strategic advisors that help me out a lot. And you can find everyone on our website too. So yeah, thanks to them, I'm able to help just like go help strategize from there. And then how I grew my team was it was actually interesting. At first, I took on anyone who wanted to help out on Design Buddies and just like asked them what they were interested in and thought about like what we needed and placed them into different roles and letting people have the freedom to do what they want to do with Design Buddies. And that's how we grew to where we are today. And each team has different leads. So it's not me who's running all the meetings, all the strategy and stuff. So I just like giving like leadership opportunities to other people as well, and then just helping them answer any questions and also helping people like get stuff they can put on their resume because a lot of people are also job seekers, and just going from there as well. So I try to, I guess to sum it up, I just take on people who like want to help out and ask them what they want out of Design Buddies and try to find opportunities for them. And I've actually helped refer a lot of people to EA and give them recommendation letters and just like give them like career advice and stuff and just give them like stuff like leadership opportunities that they can put on their resume. So um I tried to just like yeah, just like give opportunities to other people and they also contribute to Design Buddies. So that's how we've done it. And spread tasks, we're like super casual because all of us are doing this for fun, and so people like super busy, they won't they just have to let us know it's like totally okay to still be on the team, and people can just like take on tasks. We have like a task board which you can call like a Jira board. People can just like pick up stuff whenever they want to, and yeah, we have like really loose deadlines, so it's like super fun and casual.
Very cool. So you guys are really good at delegating tasks, right?
Yeah.
Cool. All right, and yeah, it's also very cool that you guys really have that like a really great networking opportunity. You know, as being such a big community in the design space, that you guys can give opportunities to people helping out in the community. That's a really good way to provide value. All right, so. Okay, of course, because this is a sort of a development community, this person is just letting you know that the community button in the toolbar is missing some padding. Okay, thank you for that. Nafati asks, how does it feel to work remotely? Would you rather work in person?
I'd actually rather work remotely. Just because I guess working in person, I feel like I would do that probably like once a week or once a month kind of thing, but not every day. Just because I live in the Bay Area, traffic is super bad. I would be spending a lot of time on the road, but I do feel like meeting my coworkers in real life is something I do want to do and meet them in person. But I feel like I get the same connection to people when I talk to them via Zoom or like on Discord or something. So I don't know, maybe it's just like my own personality. I know some people like really need that in-person interaction, but for me personally, like I'm like totally chill meeting people in and online as well. But I love working remotely just because it gives me the freedom to do what I want to do. For example, I go running in the middle of my day. I do design buddy stuff in the middle of my day. I can host events during the workday and just like get more work done at night. Um, yeah, I guess the only reason why I would want to work in person is meeting coworkers, filming the vlogs, and going to the gym at EA because I have a really nice gym. That's what I heard. Um, but I just want the freedom for remote and also freedom to be anywhere in the world. Like I have a lot of coworkers who like one day they're in France, one day they're in Italy, one day they're in Mexico, and they're just like tuning to Zoom. So that sounds like really awesome and stuff.
Yeah,
Something
that's
that I want
insane.
to do. Yeah.
Okay, cool. And actually, this I just have a question about that. Do you think that remote work is gonna kind of continue way past COVID?
I do think so. Like on LinkedIn and just like in the tech bubble that I'm in, I've been seeing a strong push to companies want to go remote first. Just because during the pandemic, I feel like a lot of people realized how much time commuting takes out of them and how productive people can still be while being remote. I feel like employees are more trusted to be productive as well, just from the general sentiment I see around tech. And a lot of people also have families, and a lot of people have their own side hustles they want to get to, and people just associate time as well. I also think this way as well, but like time is also like only resource that no one can ever get back. You can always earn more money, you can always earn more stuff in your life, but for time, it's the only currency or only like resource no one can ever get back. So having that mindset and applying that to decisions people want to make in their life, I feel like working remotely also helped with that. Also, like people like to be, I guess, like I've been seeing a lot of people want to be digital nomads and just having the freedom to do what they want. And I feel like working remotely really taps into these desires people want with their life too.
Yeah, I mean, COVID has been pretty grim, but this aspect of it, what we're getting out of it, I think, is something really huge that probably wouldn't have happened otherwise. So I can relate to that. Very cool. Apollos asks how you build trust and ownership with everyone in the community.
That's a really great question. I guess for me, so growing up, my parents always said, "Don't talk to strangers on the internet. Stranger danger." This was like late 2000s or like around the 2000s, where definitely things are different back then. Now I talk to like everyone. Um, and so I just had that kind of mindset growing up, but then I realized that like most people are like super wholesome and really nice and not out there to get you. And for Design Buddy specifically, we don't have that many people that we had problems with. Like, yeah, we definitely had a fair share of trolls and bot raids and stuff, but I noticed for like 99% of people, people are just in there to like learn about design, talk with each other, be friends with each other. And this also comes with setting expectations in the beginning. For our roles, we strongly believe that people can share their opinions without feeling like they're not welcome. Like we want to focus really we focus a lot on like inclusion, so including people from all backgrounds, all design fields, and making sure they all feel just as valued with each other. And just setting that expectation in the beginning helps people know that they're in a safe space, they can speak their mind, they can be themselves, they don't have to code switch. And then that helps like trust. And then for ownership, um, for our admin team, we take on people that we actually have like a mod slash focus group team. And so we take on people that after they've shown that they are active contributor, they have great ideas to share over a course of like 6 months. So we kind of just like see how they're like over the amount of time, and then and give them more responsibilities from there as well. And it's just a matter of just like observing and just like and also like knowing what they want out of design buddies and trying to delegate and assign them accordingly. Yeah, so it's all about just like setting expectations and just like seeing how people like behave and like not just like talk but their actions and how that translates into trust and ownership for us, at least for me.
Awesome. Okay, and last question, I think. Prakash asks, "Hey Grace, what is your day-to-day work routine? And how do you manage both full-time and design buddies?"
Yeah, great question. So my day starts usually I wake up at 6:45 a.m. Well, sometimes at 58 a.m. for my first meeting, usually at 7 a.m. with a call with development team in India. And I have my day, well, every day is a little bit different, but my first meeting typically starts at 7 a.m. So it's super early, but I got used to it. And um, I'm trying to like see how like I also have some NDAs I can't really talk too much in detail about, but at DA I'm working on two large products and one medium-sized one. The first one is Creator Network, which I can share in the chat as well. It launched the public yesterday, and y'all welcome to apply. It's just an opportunity for y'all. But
Yeah, please send it.
yeah. So it's pretty cool. So I work on this one. I also work on EA Events, which is EA's event building tool. So they host like EA Play, in-person events, virtual events as well, EA at conferences. So that tool. I also work on design systems. So those are my three main projects. So I just have a lot of calls with development teams, product teams, design teams, research teams to move forward, and just seeing how everyone's doing, answer any questions, seeing what is new is needed from the product team. So with devs, I just help answer like UX questions, clarify scope for technical limitations. With product managers, I clarify like business requirements and seeing what other features need to be designed. With other designers, I mostly collaborate on features, do design reviews with each other, and then for researchers, sometimes help them out with research and seeing what user problems we could solve with the products that we're working on as well. And yeah, so my days mostly those kind of meetings, and then at night, I would say like design buddies. It's like 5 hours a week. It's actually pretty chill. Just because I used to spend like probably 10 to 20 hours a week on it. To build our foundation. But right now, I feel like we're pretty stable. We're doing pretty well all fronts, like Discord and social media wise. So it kind of just like runs on its own right now. Um, and for me, the bulk of my time I spent on Design Buddies is a lot of like strategy, planning stuff, coordinating stuff. I still do a lot of graphic design work just because I like to. Coordinating product strategy, coordinating research, and coordinating with external partners to plan events. So lots of like strategy stuff and design stuff just because I like doing it. Sometimes I also create content for Design Buddies. So I just kind of do whatever I want to do and go from there too.
Holy, that sounds like the dream, honestly. Um, okay, so I think we're all set. Grace, thank you so much for your time. It was really nice speaking with you.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for having me on. This was fun. I would also love to know more about like how you built BuilderGroop and how you built the photography server as well.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, if you want to talk about it, we can talk about it now or just some other time.
Yeah, I need time because I know this is like a podcast recording, so
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. All right. Okay, so this is going to be recorded on Spotify and YouTube. The link will be in the announcements channel soon for the people who couldn't listen in live. But yeah, all right. Thank you for joining, everyone, and see you around.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. This was fun. I'll definitely share the links in Design Buddies too once it's up.
Awesome. All right. See ya.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.